It'll warm up. This is my first time using this little setup that I made over the last couple of weeks, so I'm going to give it a chance to warm up and get going. Excuse the back in the background. All right, let's see. Before anybody gets on here, I guess I'll get started. I kind of want to tell y'all a little bit about why I started this channel. What's the reason? What's my vision? That kind of thing. And I kind of want to say, I love doing the animals and stuff, but the only ones I know a whole lot about are the chickens. The rabbits and the quail, I take care of them, but when it comes to a lot of questions about them, that would be more my husband's thing. So maybe I can talk him into answering some of those questions. Let's see, I got the first chat. Audrey said, hi. I just wanted to get on here and talk about what I would like this channel to be, because I kind of feel like it's gotten a little lost about where I kind of wanted it to be. But anyway, I started this to talk more about chickens and my crochet and craft fairs type of stuff. Some people I noticed had a lot of questions about the rabbits and things like that. Tried to get on here and answer them, but the live kind of went a little array, kind of went off subject. I basically want this channel to be more about chickens, which is my passion, and the crochet craft fair stuff. That's my area of expertise, what I personally can answer and talk about most, because everything else I kind of get a little lost on. I do a little bit of drawing, but it's not my top hobby. You know, I'm a mom of 2 young children. I'm very limited on the hobbies I can hold right now. You know, maybe when I'm 60 years old, I can have all the hobbies I can possibly dream of. But right now, I'm very limited. So I just wanted to get on here and make sure everybody knows it's probably going to stick to chickens, crocheting, craft fairs, maybe a cooking video here and there, because that's what I do a lot. And also just get on here and chat. And I'll catch up on the chats real quick. Let's see. My birthday is on February 14th. Oh, happy early birthday, Audrey. My daughter's very much looking forward to that day. That's very cool. You're a Valentine's baby. That's very sweet. But yeah, any questions y'all have, I'm trying to let everybody know what I want my channel to be about, because I'm trying to narrow that down, because it seems to have gone all over the place. I know small channels can do that a lot, and I've heard it's very common, and I see it kind of happening right now. So I'm trying to let everybody know. Let's see. Lisa says, I gave you a like. Thank you. That's so nice. Do you have any pets? Yes. In fact, my cat is in here somewhere. I think he's snacking a little bit. And I also have some backyard animals. It's not called, we don't homestead really, but it's called, I would say, self-sufficient lifestyle. We raise meat rabbits. We raise quail for eggs and also meat. We have chickens, which is my thing. The rabbits and the quail is more my husband's thing. He was the one who researched all those and stuff. I just take care of him when he needs a little bit of help. But any questions about the rabbits and quail, that is one that my husband's going to have to answer. But yeah, anything you have about chickens, baking, and the crochet craft fairs, that's my thing. I don't know why my cat's acting weird today. Let's see. Let me catch up on some of the chats. Okay, that seems to be it right now. Anyway, I'm trying to come up with some video ideas. I'm finally getting my voice back a little bit. It was gone over the weekend, so I could not do any kind of video of any kind. And I'm wanting to do some longer videos. I'm trying to write some scripts and stuff. And if there's any subject y'all want me to go on, I would love to do it. Like I said, my subjects are crocheting, craft fairs, some baking, and chickens. Yeah, my cat's acting weird. I don't know why. Let's see. That seems to be about it. Let's see. Carissa Flores says hi. Hi. I'm trying to let everybody know what I want my channel to be about. If you're new here, I am doing chicken videos and craft fair stuff. I'm going to be doing some craft fairs this spring because it's way too cold right now for them to have any. And I also do a little bit of baking. Sometimes I don't catch that on video because usually I'm doing it around my kids and I'm not doing any kind of videos with my kids in them. Let's see. Said hello, hi. And so basically I want it to be about crochet, craft fairs, a little bit of baking, and the chickens. And it kind of seems like my YouTube channel's gone a little bit array. I have a little bit, I don't know, I'm not diagnosed with ADD, but I do have that tendency of going from one hobby to the other. So I'm trying to, because as a mom, I'm very, very limited on I can do at one time. You don't have that luxury of switching from one to the other constantly, or you will end up overwhelmed. And I need to narrow down on some things. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, go ahead and subscribe and I will make more videos. All right. Nina, can I get a shout out? My name is Tyrese. Hi, Tyrese. Any kind of questions on the subjects I just mentioned? Hey, buddy. But yeah, I'm probably going to do something like maybe a craft with me live, because I've tried to do a live with the chicken coop and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. So it's very iffy. All right. Jamie says, hi. I'm trying to let everybody know what I want my channel to be about. When it comes to the questions about rabbits and quail, that is going to be one probably for my husband. I'm trying to talk him into doing maybe a little bit of that. I think he's still working on it because he's still in school and he's a full-time pastor. So his time is a little limited right now. All right. Jamie said chickens won't cooperate. No, it's my internet. My internet won't cooperate. It's very slow, especially in the backyard. So anytime I do it, sometimes it'll work and be clear, and sometimes it'll be so pixelated that you cannot even tell what I'm trying to film. Yeah, it's very funny. So with the chicken stuff, I had to film it ahead of time and then upload it. I can't do lives with them very much. Okay. Stick that on there. But yeah, I'm trying to get together some subjects to do some like coffee time talks, since this might be slowly warming up to where I can sit on my porch kind of thing and do that. So that would be nice. But I kind of need some ideas to talk about any kind of subject. But it's kind of be something that I know about, you know. I don't want to sit here and just be rambling off about nothing that I don't know anything about. That's just not a good idea. So, and I do kind of want to make a better video. I did one video where I did a craft show. Go with a craft show with me. And that was my very first video doing that. And you can tell. So I'm trying to get a better plan for the next one I'm going to maybe gather up some questions that are common and find out how to lay that out and everything because I was very new and you could tell. All right, Jamie says, "Oh, but that's okay. More crafts, not only crochet. What does everyone like?" See, that's my thing. I gotta be careful with how much I film because if I get into too many crafts, this whole room would be filled up with stuff. It already is. Like if you could see this side of the room, it's a little chaotic. So I can do some other stuff, but I'm trying to be careful with how much I involve on this YouTube channel because it gets scatterbrained and yeah. This is my area of expertise. This and the chickens. That's what I know. That's what I feel like I can talk the most about. And I just don't want to be sitting here acting like I know about a certain subject and can talk about it, and I don't. It's just not, I don't think it's a smart idea. It makes it 10 times awkward trying to talk about something that you don't really know about and you only know about it just a little bit. Okay. But yeah, I'm starting to use these as a little microphone holder. What you think? Just kind of in general, I'm trying to narrow down on some things in my life because you got too much going on, you can't accomplish anything. And I do have a tendency of trying to do a little bit of everything at one time because I get bored really easily. It's terrible. And I need to quit. And I'm talking about this like in the sense of my home, family life, everything. And narrow down on some of it. All right. I might do a video on how I make my bread because I know sourdough is a huge thing right now, or it has been for the past 6 years. The sourdough that I use is not the traditional one. It's called Amish Friendship, and it was a recipe that I got from my husband's side of the family. In fact, my mother-in-law gave it to me, and it's so good. And thinking about making a video of how I do that. But like I said, usually whenever I'm doing baking, my kids are involved, so I gotta plan that out just right. But yeah, I just wanted to get on here and make a little bit of a statement about what I want this channel to be about because I've noticed that it kind of has, it seems like people want it to go to another subject or it goes off subject a lot. Like I tried to do drawing a little bit and there was requests for me to do certain drawings and that's not what I want this channel to be about. I was just doing that because I was sick and I couldn't be outside with the animals. So I was just kind of drawing my animals just to fill in the video a little bit. And I just wanted to get on here and talk about kind of my thoughts on what I want this channel to be. I mainly made it because I'm super shy as a normal person. I like being around people, but talking doesn't come easy to me. And I'm trying to get better at it and be better at communicating things. And kind of, I just wanted to find a little bit of community because I have some hobbies that I'm really into. And find some like-minded people a little bit. Like I said, I can talk about my chickens all day long. I will hang out there as much as I possibly can. I will talk about crochet with somebody all day long, exchange ideas, and I love going to craft fairs. I love going and hanging out with that type of crowd. And so that's the reason I wanted to make it. It's to kind of find some people, a community like that. And maybe there was someone like me who once upon a time did not know about half of this stuff. And I had a lot of questions. I wanted to find out some things and research and find more channels like that. And I really, to be honest, whenever I started doing craft fairs, I could not find a whole lot of channels that talked about it, especially in my part of the US. I saw a lot of, ones from the West Coast and stuff, which can be kind of helpful. And they answered some questions, but it's just very different from how it is where I live. Where I live is very rural and just not a whole lot of bigger cities, at least not ones you want to stay in for a long time. And so I kind of wanted to help some people out, maybe, even if it's just one person. So yeah, let's see how much time I got. I'm going to probably make this 20 minutes. I don't want to be on here too long because I do have some stuff I need to take care of. But like I said, if anybody has any questions that they want answered about, like I said, the subjects I'm going to stick to on this channel are chickens, how I take care of them. It can be what kind of breeds do I like and why I like them, because I do have a variety. We'll talk about crochet, how I got into it, what are some projects I recommend for beginners, that kind of thing. I do have one tutorial up, which is the washcloth one, which is great. We love using those things for eggs, dishes, anything you can imagine you would use a dish/washcloth for. It works great. And yeah, that and craft fairs. And what advice I would give for someone who wants to do that kind of thing. So if anybody is interested in that, subscribe. I would love to hear from you about any questions you have about that, anything I can talk about. I will be glad to talk about that, but that's where I want this channel to go. And done. Okay, let's see. Okay, I don't think there's any more questions. But yeah, that's the stuff I want to stick to for right now. And I'll probably do some little day in the life here and there. Just because I'll admit, like, whenever I wake up in the mornings, it's hard to do those kind of videos because you get up and your feet you're hitting the ground running pretty much. So, but yeah, that's why I wanted to get on here and talk about that and stick with those subjects. Which country are you from? US. I'm from the Southeast US. And usually whenever this cold goes away, you can definitely hear it in the accent. It just sounds a little different at the moment. And yeah, I want to talk more about chickens and the crochet and craft fairs. I can do a little bit of cooking and stuff, but really and truly the type of cooking I do dinner-wise is very simple, done within 30 minutes, maybe an hour type of stuff. So I don't feel like, all right, Jamie, I'm going to get some chicken stings. Oh, are you? All right. I'm sorry, I can't read some of these usernames, but IQ Ball says, what's your channel about? Sorry, I can't read for some reason. It's about chickens mostly. I do crochet, and whenever the spring starts, I'm going to be doing some craft fairs. So I want to do some videos on those type of things. I've done a little bit about baking and things like that and how I manage everything, but I'm kind of wanting to keep it on the crochet, chickens, and craft fairs. I might do a little bit of baking stuff later on. Let's see. Oh, that's so shaky. Abal, did I pronounce it right? Pronunciation. I think I'm reading that right. I hope I am. I have a name that's spelled. That's why I shortened it to Cloudy. Iqbal. Iqbal. Either Iqbal or Iqbal. That's correct. Okay, good. I was trying my best, I swear. Yeah, I just noticed that with my channel, no problem. I noticed that with this channel, it was kind of just veering off a little bit, and I'm going to kind of keep it on track. All right. Oh, Jamie asked Iqbal where you're from. Cool name, by the way. So we'll give him a chance to answer that. But yeah, I'm gonna try to make sure I keep it on channel. India. Oh, cool. I've gotten a lot of people on this channel from India. That's neat. And there we go. But yeah, I'm trying to get everything in order for this channel and stuff. And I kind of felt like I needed to make it clear about what my idea was a little bit. All right. Oh, yeah. Jamie's just answering a question. Excuse me. Southeast U.S. Yeah. Right. Cool. Yeah. Again, I will say one more time, I'll give it a few more minutes on this live and then I'm probably going to shut it down. If y'all have any type of questions on those types of subjects, let me know down below or just stick around and watch the next videos I'm making, but it's probably going to stick to those subjects. And I'm starting to lose my voice just a little bit again. I thought I had it back. All right. Jamie says I'm making chicken soup for someone. Oh, fun. I hope they're not sick, are they? Gary says, hello, Cowdy. Do you do needlepoint? I have before. A little bit. It's not really my main subject. Like I said earlier in this live, I have to be careful about how many hobbies I'm trying to keep up at one time because I am a mom of kids that are still young and need a lot of my attention. And I did promise that anytime I'm doing this crafting and the YouTube and stuff, that's not going to come before that. So maybe one day I'll get into it whenever I have caught up with everything else. But no, but I admire people who do it. It looks really pretty. I have a grandmother that used to do it, who was actually very talented at doing that kind of stuff. Anything with a needle, sewing machine. If she could get some scrap fabric and some thread, she can make anything. It was amazing. But this is my thing when it comes to crafting right now, and I'm kind of sticking to it. And that's what most of my YouTube is about. And also, I do raise chickens that I'm obsessed with. I finally have gotten some this past year, and I'm loving it. I have not gotten tired of them yet. I know some people think that whenever you start something like that, it'll kind of become mundane. I still love it. I pick them up and pet them and mess with them and everything. So that's what I want my YouTube to be about, is the crochet, craft fairs, and the chickens. All right. Gary asks, it was my mother's favorite. How she found time when she raised 13 children? Oh, wow. My mother had 6. And like I said, she can make anything. Absolutely anything. I still have some stuff that she made for me that I'm keeping for my daughter later on down the road. Costumes. Anything you think of, she would make it. And by the way, whenever I said was, she's still with us, thank goodness. But her memory is pretty much gone and she just can't do those type of things anymore because her hands can't handle it anymore. So whenever I say was, she has not passed on, still with us, but she just doesn't do that kind of stuff anymore. And also that's where I got the chickens from too. So I grew up with a mom who was absolutely terrified of birds. And so anytime I went to my grandma's house, she had a whole bunch of chickens whenever I was younger. And that's how I got into it too. So I guess I inherited a lot from her. I thank God Mom and Dad didn't stop because I was number 12. Yeah, I'm the youngest of my family too. So yeah, it would kind of kill me how many people would say, well, why didn't you stop at such and such a number before I was born? And I'd be standing right there, you know? Yeah. It's one of those things. I admire big families. I don't know. I know some people don't. I admire them. I don't personally have one. But, you know, it's something you look at people and you're like, yeah, that's nice. You know, if you can do it, good for you. I love it. I'm trying to see. It's still loading. It's still loading. A little bit. But yeah, if anybody is new to this thing, that's why I got on here, was to try to talk about what I want this channel to be about, why I made it, and excuse me, where I kind of want it to go. Because it just seemed like it was getting kind of other people wanted it to be something else, or me to talk about things that I just don't know about. You know, if I'm not an expert in something, or at least somewhat know about something, I'm not going to ramble on here and talk about it unless I've done my research on something and have experience. Let's see. Gary says, God has blessed us so much. I have 36 nieces and nephews and 42 great nieces and nephews. That is awesome. That is so awesome. Yeah, I have my dad's side of the family is really big like that. It's nice. I will say, some people, it's so funny. I have brought people to family reunions and stuff like that. You know, my current husband, whenever we first started dating, I brought him over to family reunion, and it's just like, it's huge. You know, I've always described it to people of, it's like that scene from My Big Fat Greek Wedding, you know, when they're having the big barbecue and stuff, and she's bringing over her fiance, and everybody's all up on him asking questions and hugging them and stuff, and it just seems like this huge crowd. I tell people that's what my family's like, minus they just have different accents. There we go. But yeah, that's awesome. I love that. So yeah. Also, there was a lot of questions about the rabbits and things like that. I don't do a whole lot with them. I feed them, I help take care of them and stuff like that. But whenever it comes to questions about them, how to take care of certain issues with them, how to build the hutches, and what kind of feed to give them and things like that, that is my husband's expertise. He did all the research on it. That's what he wanted to do. My thing was, I was happy with the chickens. Anything else, he was welcome to do, and he did all the research on it. He did that. So maybe I can get him to write down some answers if anybody ever does have any more questions. But like I said, I'm sticking with the chickens, I'm sticking with the crochet, and I'm sticking with the craft fairs, and letting that be what my channel's about, because that's what I can talk about. Gary says, when God gives us talents, it's so cool to see people like yourself share that with others. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm not a gatekeeper at all. If anybody ever has any questions on how to do anything that I know how to do, I will try my best to teach them. Because look, you need to teach these skills. It seems like, I'm glad that it kind of seems like millennials especially are getting back into this kind of stuff. I've always kind of liked it, and then I really got into it in my 20s. I think it's a good thing to talk about and teach. Because, like, I want to get into canning one day. I have no clue. No clue how to do that. I had a grandmother who did it, but my parents didn't. So it seems like if it's not talked about and it's not shown, it's going to get lost. And it doesn't need to be. You know? I don't think it has to be. I just have to be careful how much I get into at one time. Alright, Gary said, I get my eggs from a nephew that raises chickens. Cool. That is really cool. Yeah, I've become the chicken lady at my community. Most of the people around here do raise chickens, but the few who don't seem like they will come and get eggs. People will always come and ask for eggs. Alright, Jamie says, I need to learn canning so I can make my big pot of sauce and store one serving. Yeah, you do. I need a jar. That's the main thing I want to learn how to do later, because I know it takes a lot of attention, and I don't always have that unless I get lucky with nap time. Alright, Gary says, I have only made fresh jams and jellies. See, one time I made some, I think it was muscadine. I think it was muscadines I made. It's been a while. Jellies, and that turned out pretty good. I will admit it was very sugary, so it wasn't perfect, but at least I got it to where it would seal. But I'm telling you, it felt like I was in the kitchen for a good afternoon just working on that. So I think I need probably someone to physically, a relative or someone to physically come over here and teach me person to person. Nothing like blackberry jam on fresh biscuit. Absolutely. And also I want to learn how to make a recipe that was, also another thing that my grandmother did was, it was called, mayhaw. That's what it was, mayhaw jelly. It's beautiful red color. And it was so good. Yeah. Making sure I'm keeping up with the chats and stuff. But yeah, if I ever get into something like that, I will probably do like a separate, whenever I do get the time, do a separate channel for like cooking and canning kind of thing. Because I noticed that whenever YouTube channels have too many subjects on it, it doesn't work. So that's, again, why I'm coming on this live, to kind of speak about what I want to do with this one. And because I don't want it to get lost on people. I kind of want it to be a community about chickens, crafting, and that's pretty much it. I might speak on some things about being a mom / preacher's wife, but like I said, I'm not going to make this channel about being, I want to be careful with the kid stuff. That's my boundary with that. Alright. Gary says, how often and what times do you stream? I need to go now, thank you. I usually do it right about now, about 11:30 in the mornings. I haven't picked out certain days. It kind of depends on the day, but I try to do at least every other work day and sometimes an evening live stream if I can, but most of the time by the nighttime I'm tired. But anyway, thank you for joining, and please subscribe. Feel free to comment under a video if you have questions about anything, and I will try to make a video on it. Okay, making sure that's all straightened out. But thank you. I need to get a new stand. Alright, see you again. God bless. You too. Alright, this seemed to be a pretty good stream. That was nice. Alright, how long are we going? Oh, wow. We're almost to 40 minutes. I said I was going to stop at 25. Alright, I'm probably ain't going to stop this. Thank y'all for joining me. Again, thank you for hearing me out on what I want this channel to be about. And I'm going to stick to those subjects from now on more. And if you have anything you would like to talk about or a video to be made, please, I welcome any ideas, just as long as they stay within, again, chickens, crochet, craft fairs, and that type of stuff. Thank you so much. This was Cloudy. Bye!